Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and this is where characters gather. It is Monday morning, the 2nd of October. Still doesn't feel like fall here in Central Texas. It is just below 100 degrees for the next several days. Still, we're getting there, but still, I'm ready for it not to be in the 90s. Even 80s would be a welcome break at this point. But you're not here to listen to me complain about Texas weather, which, while wonderful, can also be trying at the best of times. Hello, Fireball. So, what did I read last week? I had a very up and down, eclectic week for reading. I have 4 DNFs last week. I read 3 or 4 books. So let's talk about the DNFs first. With the exception of one, they were all on my Kindle. So the first DNF of the week was Dear Henry, Love Edith by Becca Kinzer. I read a solid 50% of this book. And it was cute to begin with. I was enjoying it. The miscommunication and the notes between Henry and Edith were very cute. And it was a novel way to begin a romance. I was okay with that part. Where the book lost me, and irretrievably so, was when Henry finds out who Edith is, and Edith figures it out too, after Henry. And neither one of them just fusses up and goes, oh yeah, by the way, I'm really old man Henry, or I'm really old woman Edith. And they just, that whole miscommunication thing is just, and choosing to miscommunicate is far more egregious in my opinion. Annoying and irritating and immature. And I didn't care. At that point, I was over it. They were going to start their relationship on a dishonest foot. And yeah, I was over it. So I DNF'd that. Next up was Easy as Pie by Carina. Make sure the name is right. Carney Taylor. This is book number 5 in the Sweater Weather series. Didn't get very far in this one, and it confirmed that I really don't like the fake dating a celebrity trope. I don't care. I don't buy it. I'm not interested. So I set that one aside. And then next up, also on my Kindle, was The Beast and the Enchanter by Camile Peters. There wasn't necessarily anything wrong with this. It was just reading too young for me, and I wasn't enjoying it. And, you know, I don't mind fairy tale retellings, but they have to be very well written, and they have to catch my attention from the get-go. And not read like a bunch of teenagers. I need them to be older adults, and that's fine. It's nothing against the author of the book. It's just it wasn't working for me. So the last DNF of the week for me was disappointing, and I can now faithfully never check this book out of the library again and try to force myself to read it. That was The Anatomist's Wife by Anna Lee Huber. I DNF'd this at paragraph 1, page 1. And why? Why, you ask, Tammy, did I DNF it so quickly? Because that's when the first dead body appears. Seriously, there is no more irritating trope for me than dead body on page, chapter 1. Before you know the characters, there's any background, there's any setting, atmosphere, anything. And to do it in the very first paragraph? The book may improve significantly from there, but I do not have the patience for that. I know myself well enough to know that I needed to tap out, so I tapped out. I do have 2 what I am going to consider soft DNFs. I will probably at some point check them back out from the library. The first would be A June of Ordinary Murders by Conor Brady. I'm 5 or 6 chapters into this. Maybe I've read the whole first day, so 50 pages in. And I don't hate it. I'm just not in the mood for it. So when I'm in the mood for it, I will go pick it back up again. It was really just a mood read for me. I'm just not in the mood for it. And the next one was the Hopkins Manuscript by R.C. Sherrif. I'm enjoying this one still, but again, it's a little too slow moving for me right now. I want some, more action, less introspection. So, soft DNF. And I don't mind soft DNFing books. If I get back to them, great. If I don't, there's a note for me in my reading to, pick it back up. So that is okay with me. So what did I read this week? Okay, so first up, NetGalley arc. That would be Murders of a Feather by Eileen Brady. This was a NetGalley arc in exchange for my fair and honest review. This is the, I want to say, second book in the Dr. Kate series. If I'm wrong, I will put what number it is down here. It releases tomorrow from Poison Pen Press. I was eagerly looking forward to this installment in the Dr. Kate series. I enjoy the characters and the setting. So Dr. Kate is a small animal veterinarian in the Hudson Valley of New York, and she has taken over the practice of the veterinarian owner of the practice while he's on a year-long vacation. And in the course of her regular duties, Dr. Kate stumbles upon a body. Basic setup. I really enjoyed the first book. It is reviewed on my blog. It is linked down below. It was a fantastic book. This book would have gotten the same incredibly high rating from me, except that the author chose to insert events from 2020 into the narrative. It didn't add anything to the narrative. It let realism intrude on the story. And we all know how I feel about the real world intruding into my escapist fiction. And that's what cozies are. And if they had cut that stuff out, if they had cut the real world mentions out, it would have been a much better book. It would have gotten the highest rating for me. it would have not impacted the story whatsoever. Unfortunately, the real world is in the book, and it just, I'm so conflicted. I enjoy my relationship with the Poison Pen Press, and I enjoy their cozy mysteries and the inclusion of that 2020 stuff is just incredibly disappointing. I read to escape. I don't read to be reminded of the real world. I'm going to leave that there. And moving on to the next book. A Prologue to Murder by Lauren Elliot. This is book 2 in the Beyond the Page bookshop mystery series. This was an audiobook from library. I listened to this while stitching. It was incredibly enjoyable. So, it is set in a small New England town in Massachusetts. The protagonist, whose name escapes me at the moment, I'll put it down below right here, owns a used bookstore she inherited for her aunt, and the town is still trying to figure out if she's welcome. And in this one, town is celebrating Founders Day, and murder and mischief ensues, and books are once again the clue that solves the case. It was well plotted. It had plenty of twists and turns. It was a, book in which the reader was shown, not told. So it hit all the right notes for me. It let me stitch. It let me read. And I will undoubtedly continue the series. It is good, escapist, cozy fiction. There's a hint of romance. There's a hint of humor. It just hits all the right notes for me. So that was the audiobook for the week. So next up was Texas by James A. Michener. I did finish sections 1 through 3 this weekend. I enjoyed them immensely. Sections 2 and 3 in particular were fascinating for me. I am looking forward to finishing 4, 5, and 6 this month. It is roughly 300 pages, so it's a huge novel, but it's a 300-page chunk this month, and I can handle 300 pages. It isn't a quick read because it's so historically focused, but each section has new characters in it and a new time frame, and it relates to the last one, and it builds upon itself, as you would expect in a book that spans 4.5 centuries. And I am invested, and I'm glad I decided to pick it back up and finish my reading challenge this year. So the last book I read this weekend was A Letter from Briarton Park by Sarah E. Ladd. This is book 1 in the Yorkshire series. Yeah, I know it's the Yorkshire series. And this book was so good it gave me a book hangover. This is historical fiction. It is clean, there's romance, and there is a mystery involved. So our main character is Cassandra, and she is a school teacher, and the woman who raised her, who runs the school, is on her deathbed as the book opens up, and she proceeds to inform Cassandra that, oh, by the way, I received this letter. It's on the dresser. It's for you. And this sets Cassandra on the path to go to Briarton Park and discover who she truly is. It is delightful. It is clean. It is set in Regency England. It has just enough of a cozy mystery that you could consider this a cozy mystery. It is there's found family, there's budding romance, there's strong characters, and most importantly, Cassandra Hale is not a weak, wishy-washy female. She knows who she is. She doesn't have expectations above her station. She just wants to find out about her past and then move on with her life and, get herself a new job and settle down. She has no expectations of marriage or, any of the things that you would expect. And I love the fact that this was a strong female protagonist who, while angry and upset at the secrets that had been kept from her all of her life, it didn't so influence her future that she couldn't move past them and she couldn't grow. She wasn't stuck in the past. She was embracing the future. And I truly love that. I every part of this book was just an absolute hit for me. And I am very much looking forward to more Sarah Ladd books. I absolutely am. So that is what I read and did not read last week. What am I going to read this week? I already have a DNF this week, but I will save that for next week. I do have 2 starts as of today. I have read chapters 1 in each of these. That would be The Daughter of Eden by Jill Eileen Smith and A Solitude of Wolverines by Alice Henderson. They are very different in tone. They are very different in content. Don't know which one I'm going to pick up first. I'm very torn. They both have short chapters, so I can't even use this one as short chapters. This one doesn't, so I'll use the short chapter one first. Solitude is slightly shorter, like 20 pages shorter. I might just have to flip a coin and see which one comes up. And Savannah Scott's Sweater Weather releases on Thursday of this week. So I will read that one as well. I do have NetGalley Arcs to read. So I'm not short of reading material. So we will see what I get to this week. Did you read anything good last week? Did you read anything frustrating? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe. And I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.